Hello, everyone, and happy Thursday, the 6th day of August. This is the first Thursday in August. Are you hot? Well, thank God I don't think so. As you're watching this in the comfort of your room or down in our beautiful lobby, it's nice and cool inside. Thank you, Mike, and your team for keeping the air conditioning working so well, because it's a hot one outside. I'm Chaplain Dan, and this conversation with Chaplain Dan continues the discussion we've had Monday and Tuesday about what we do with fear when we feel anxious or afraid, especially in these days. And boy, have I got a blockbuster lesson for you today. But in review, Monday we said, if we'll stop and listen for what God may be saying, like the children of Israel did long ago, when they began to be afraid in the wilderness and Pharaoh's army was closing down on them on the backside, and the river Jordan was there on the front side. Moses heard God say, listen. Second, on Tuesday we said, when you're afraid, look, not at the fear of pandemic news and other things, but look at the stars, the moon, the sun during the day. Look at the beauty of the trees all around us, even in this scorching August heat. Look and see God is still watching, caring, protecting us. We have to be smart, but much more than knowing how to follow the rules, we have to look to see what God is doing. That was day before yesterday. And now today we come down to something you all already since childhood have learned about. And that is when we really get anxious and Pharaoh is coming our way and the river is running fast on the other side and we're feeling squeezed. When we hear the news about this pandemic and we can't see our family or our friends, and we have these rules that we follow, always not so happily, but we follow because they're good for us, to stay 6 feet away from each other, not to gather in groups more than 10, and certainly not to go outside. When we follow those rules, then it's like we're being, sometimes I've heard you say, squeezed and anxious. When the children of Israel were squeezed and anxious, even after they'd seen the pillars of fire protecting them that night before, they slept through peacefully. They were still anxious in the morning. And that's when God said to Moses, you'll remember, raise up your staff and face the river. And so the leader raised up his leader's staff and held it. And God somehow, because of Moses' obedience and faithfulness, yes, but because the children of Israel continued to look to God for protection and guidance, yes, what happened was maybe the greatest physical miracle in all of the scriptures, maybe in all of our imaginations and experience, suddenly the waters of the mighty river Jordan parted right in front of the children of Israel, right in front of Moses' staff. And on dry land, suddenly, the thousands of the Hebrew children walked through on dry land, walked through the river with walls of water held by God on either side. God made a way where there was no way. Now, it may not be as dramatic as that for you, but if we remain faithful, even in our moments of fear, that same God is going to bring us out of this dilemma. That same God is going to sustain us so that we can see our sustained family and friends again one day. That same God is in the way-making business still. I urge you to reflect on that and draw peacefulness in the face of your fear and anxiety. Have a blessed rest of your Thursday. I'll see you tomorrow. This is Chaplain Dan. We're so glad you were here for this conversation. God bless.